Ops, gente, vamos de novo, gente, aqui. Boa tarde, estamos começando aqui o papo, o nosso Encontros por Acaso número 33, com Mihai Draghici. O Mihai, ele é fundador de uma Fintech holandesa, que nasceu na Romênia e foi acelerada na Bulgária pela Visa, e hoje ele é acelerado também na Holanda. Então, ele vai estar conosco aqui, eu queria aqui agradecer muito a presença do Mihai. Hi, Mihai, just switching for English now, I know just started this in Portuguese.
Hi, Joel.
You guys different countries, so someday you want to be here in Brazil and talking Portuguese as well. So thank you very much, Mihai, for being with us today.
Thank you, Joel. Glad to be on your event. This is awesome. And if I come to Brazil, I'm going to learn how to dance.
Yes. Well, we can come when as soon as we finish all this mess in the world. Yeah. So you're gonna have this opportunity. So. Before we start and before you introduce yourself, I'd like to show our friends and a very short video about Paybyface. Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
How many of you decided to go to the beach this summer? Well, if you decided to go out and enjoy the sun, you probably remember how difficult it is to carry your phone and your cash and your wallet while you're playing in the sand. Hiding your stuff under a towel so nobody steals it, worrying if you dropped your cash in the sand, or if you're like me and your wife doesn't have pockets in her swimsuit, you end up carrying all her stuff too, and instead of relaxing, you turn into a walking warehouse of phones, cards, and cash in your pockets.
Hi, I'm Mike Draghici, founder and CEO of Paybyface, where your face becomes a virtual card.
Using Paybyface, all those worries of how to pay disappear. For example, when you finish swimming in the pool, you can just go straight to the bar and pay for your drink by simply having your face scanned. No cash, no phone, no cards, just your beautiful tan face. We have launched 18 iPads in Romania, at coffee shops, pharmacies, salons, you name it. We are planning to have 100 locations up and running by the end of this year. We have signed a partnership with Romania to onboard 750,000 cardholder members on corporate prepaid meal cards. We're also running a pilot project with Raiffeisen Bank Bulgaria and Bank ABC in the Middle East. We have bootstrapped everything so far the past 3 years, with very strategic funding to date of approximately 100,000 euros from 2 angel investors, the Startup Bootcamp Accelerator, and as a Raiffeisen Factory contest winner in Romania this year. Our plans are to expand the market in Bucharest to prove our scalability and see if consumers will take Paybyface viral. We are preparing for our seed round and would love to talk to you and discuss additional important topics like privacy and security, go-to-market strategy, and our financial models with your team. So next time you need to go buy alcohol for the beach party, you can just pay with your face. Join us at Paybyface and let's take payments beyond the transaction.
Hey, Mihai. So I think this Paybyface will be very, welcome in Brazil when we are allowed to go to the beach again. But
Absolutely.
before we start talking about Paybyface, Mihai, I understand you are talking to us from Bucharest today, right? So although you live, half in Amsterdam, half in Bucharest, half I don't know where else. But tell us, thanks for being here, sharing your experience. But please introduce yourself and tell us how you have become an entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh, what a story that would be. So I live in Bucharest right now. My wife and our little 1.5-year-old son, we're here in Bucharest. We just got here 2 weeks ago from Amsterdam to spend time with family for the holidays. But I've been traveling the world for the past 20 years. So I started getting really excited for startups and being an entrepreneur in the dot-com bubble. Back then. And so I've been a software engineer, enterprise software engineer for almost 20 years now. And I've lived in India for 3 years. I've built startups in Mexico City, in Canada, in the US, of course. And then 3 years ago, I moved to Bucharest. I was building a winery in Washington State, and I was living on I was living on a sailboat in Seattle.
Wow.
And I was kind of bored in America. I had done, a lot of tech companies and real estate and all kinds of stuff, and I was just kind of getting bored. And so, my mom told me, why don't you go back to Romania, go see grandma. And so that's what I did. And when I got here in Bucharest, within a week, I was on LinkedIn and I saw how many tech jobs there are on LinkedIn in Bucharest. And I was like, oh man, this is the wild, wild East, This is tech capital of the world over here in Eastern Europe. So I decided to move my life to Europe. And for the past 3 years, I've been building companies. I launched about 10 startups in Bucharest 3 years ago, and after 3 years, 2 of them survived. One being Paybyface.
Right. So very good. So I was about to ask you how you ended up in Amsterdam, but the good question is where you came from, right? So I didn't know that you are a fintech entrepreneur that used to work with wine. Interesting.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed working with wine. I learned a lot about wine and grapes and planting grapes and making wine and all that. It's kind of a passion of mine. But of course, being an engineer for so long, I'm sort of the CTO and the CEO, and it's easy for me to have an idea and build an app, right? So I, of course, why not? Why not?
Very interesting. So what pain does Paybyface solve? I mean, this payments arena. Where did this idea to address this problem come from? I know you just told us when we saw watched you on the beach. So what pain does you intend to solve?
So the pain wasn't really clear at first, when we, 3, 4, 5 years ago, when I kind of had some experiences that, gave me this idea. I was in Dallas and I was working with some gentlemen folks down there. And there was a discussion about, there's corporate executives that go from building to building, and they carry a whole bunch of those plastic cards. For each campus has different card access. And we were like, okay, well, wouldn't it be easier just to have your face as your digital ID? Right, that was one aspect. And then I worked for this former senior vice president of Visa in the States, and I worked with the former senior chief architect of Visa. I traveled to India with them, and there was discussions about how to build a better Visa. How do we build a better Visa? And then when I got to Europe, I found out about open banking, PSD2, the whole API, open API banking thing. And then I was like, I pretty much did this for the insurance business in America. So I know what it means to open your database with public APIs. And all of these ideas, culminated into, there's got to be a better way to pay. And I was in Bucharest when I first arrived here. I was sitting at a restaurant, and when it was time to pay, the waitress came out and she handed me one of those POS things. And she was like, okay, well, how would you like to pay? Like cash or card? And I was like, what do you mean how I want to pay? I want to pay like with whatever I want to pay. Why are you asking me this? And then that thing ran out of paper, right? And then the batteries were dead. And I was like, this sucks. There's got to be a better way. I mean, why don't we combine all these techs and come up with some sort of like face recognition payment system? And that's sort of how Paybyface was born.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we have some friends here. You see, Cristiano is here, just talking about Paybyface. Another friend, Marcelo Chincua, also here, saying, yes, true, verdade. That's true. So yeah, you have a problem. So, and I have a friend here from Facebook. Is Osvaldo do Nascimento. He's an expert in everything, and he's saying that in 1983, at Michigan University, face recognition techniques were part of the final work at the university. So
nice. I actually spoke to the kid. He was kind of a kid back then, but the guy that invented Predator. So Predator was the first sort of computer vision where you had three, you could control the mouse with 3 fingers. And I was working with face recognition back then too. I think this was almost like 12 years ago. I don't exactly know, but it was the Predator days. Anybody that's been in the industry knows the Predator days. And that's when we started getting into face recognition. And I was building an out-of-home digital signage network in the early 2000s in California and in Seattle. And with our out-of-home, our plasma TVs, we were buying plasma TVs at Best Buy and running digital ads on them. We wanted to hook up a webcam so we could track how many people were seeing the advertising using face recognition. But it was way ahead of its time.
You're not alone in your company. How did you and your partners come together as a team to build this solution?
Sure. So Mr. Robeli Shefket from Switzerland, he found me on LinkedIn. That was I had sort of been a lone ranger for the first 2 years or so of Paybyface, just doing it on my own. And then Robeli approached me on LinkedIn, and
Robeli is in Switzerland, right?
In Switzerland, yeah. He also introduced me to Cristiano and basically the rest of the team. I had other contacts here in Bucharest that also came in as angel investors and other advisors. And so over the last year, we've been accepted into Startup Bootcamp and the Visa Innovation Program here in Europe. And over the last year, we participated in 2 accelerators and really grew the team and realigned our strategy to scale up.
Right. And what is your current stage? With what current customers? We watched the video, and I understand that video you built that to present in your bootcamp program or the Visa program. I don't know exactly where, but how is your current stage in your company?
Yeah, so we're still a bootstrap pre-seed fintech startup. It's very difficult to build a disruptive payment system. This is one of a kind, sort of. So I don't have comparables, so to speak. And so a lot of the things we're doing has never been done before. That's right. A lot of the integration that we've done has never been done before. And so it's a lot of learning process. It's a lot of slow adoption, a lot about, and especially now, with what you've seen in the world, face recognition and surveillance and security and data privacy and all these things are very important. Yeah. So it took us a very long time to sort of build the tech right? And we're a European company. I'm not like Chinese or Russian or anything like that. So it's very important for us to have a good, solid, secure system, and that takes time.
Just to be fair, I never seen that either in Brazil or in Europe or in US. I mean, to see facial recognition in the payments arena. In fact, I've seen in China. So in China, you have those smile to pay, some of those techniques they are using there because, in China, they really have worked a lot in that, not just for payments, but now they are using a lot in payments and during the pandemic. They just get it. I mean, they start using most. But, I just to be fair, I saw Tayara was the first one to tell me I was in the mute, just the beginning of our conversation. So just to say thanks to Tayara. And, Mihai, I have a question for you from one of for our public. So that's going to be live. I have here Mauricio Alban Salas. He's the CEO of a digital bank in Peru called B89. And in fact, he's in Spain right now. So this is a kind of multinational family and friends live. Let's see. So, hi, Mauricio.
How are you guys? How are you doing?
Thank you. How are you?
Join us. So, all yours.
Well, I have a first question for Mihai. How do you keep in shape? That is very important.
How can you say that again?
How do you keep in shape because of the video?
Yeah, great question. I have a 1.5-year-old son. He runs me around the house.
I see. No, well, now a serious question. How is the coronavirus affecting your business model? Is accelerating it? How you think that factor is going to have impact on your solution?
Actually, the COVID situation has absolutely accelerated us. I was doing customer discovery and value proposition and all of that stuff for 2 years in Bucharest. I spoke to all the banks, and all the investments at the time were in contactless, sort of tap to pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, NFC and those sort of technologies. But now with not just the COVID, but the migration to e-commerce, is accelerating Paybyface, because what we've built is a pipeline where you can do card not present in store. At the point of sale, where typically you had card present, and now I can leverage the same gateway with acquiring bank rails to facilitate e-commerce transactions and in-store purchase transactions on the same channel. Which is really helping the acquiring banks retain the business that's migrating over to e-commerce transactions, and they're losing that market share. On the other side, for the consumer side, clearly paying with your face, you don't have to touch anything, and you don't have to carry a phone, you don't have to carry cards, you don't need to carry cash, you don't need to carry anything. Once you have an account, it's coined now as naked payments, because really you could just go, you could swim in the beach like my video, you could be swimming in the water, you go walk straight to the bar and buy your beer with just a face scan, right? You didn't touch anything. So this COVID situation has really sort of put the spotlight on this sort of biometric payment technology that facilitates safety. And we've been able to streamline the architecture so that it's also basically as fast as NFC. So speed, convenience, and security. Whenever you have innovation in those 3 areas, payments adopts new changes. So we're leveraging those 3 factors, and Paybyface is just timed perfectly for it.
One more question I have for you. How is the onboarding of customers? Because normally when you have something as definitive as biometrics, you have an onboarding friction. If I'm a new customer, I want to be part of your Paybyface model. How do I onboard?
So onboarding is very simple. We went the route of digital KYC like most banks are doing right now, but because this is basically like an e-commerce account, you don't need. We pulled that component out. So all it takes is just a phone number, email, and your name to create a Paybyface account. You get a welcome email. You can download the apps from the App Store on Android, on iOS, on anything. You create, and this is from the consumer perspective. I'll tell you the merchant side in a little bit, but from a consumer, you sign up. You get your welcome email, you log in, and then you take a selfie. You add your card, just like the Uber app. You add a card on file, and then you set your account PIN. and that's it. You're ready to go shop. So it's not like passport and all that stuff, because really it's just an e-commerce shopping account.
Mihai, just complement this. There is a question for you from Marcelo Chincoa. Say, tell a little bit about security.
Yeah, security's been very important to us. I mean, that's why it took us so long to build this, because of GDPR in Europe and PSD2 regulations in Europe. We were presented to the European Central Bank several weeks ago, fully vetted, also by the National Bank of Romania, and it took us a while. So we added biometric face recognition as one component, which is sort of like your digital passcode, right? But then we also created a really unique geofencing biometric data distribution system, which I coded. It took me 3 years to build this. What's happening is, when let's say you're shopping in your neighborhood and there's a local merchant that has the Paybyface iPad or tablet. When you go there, that iPad only recognizes the people within 20 kilometers of its location. So if you got in a car and drove, to the next city, all your data would be wiped and moved within 20 minutes and follows you around. So it's like a little security cloud, that follows you around. Another feature that we added is you can get home at the end of the day and completely turn it off. And that wipes all the data from all the iPads in the area. And then when you leave in the morning, you can turn it back on, and then your data gets distributed again. So those are some factors with the geofencing. We've also set, pin on glass. So you have two-factor, scan your face, and then if it's over a certain amount of like $30 or something, then you're also asked for pin on glass. So some of these features are what we've leveraged. Of course, we're already sitting on top of the e-commerce, standard e-commerce gateways for fraud prevention and e-commerce transactions. So we're actually adding a layer on top of standard e-commerce transaction security.
I'm not able to post the Facebook questions here in our panel, but Osvaldo is just saying that, remember that because of the coronavirus, government in Brazil just using some face recognition techniques for to recognize the digital driver's license. So it's something different. So, as in China, so I was there and said they use facial recognition a lot for many different applications. How do you compare your technology, your solution, to Smile to Pay, for instance, that Alipay is implementing there in China?
Yeah, so I don't really know how Alipay is built, technically wise, but I mean, in China, they don't have GDPR, first of all, that I know of. And pretty much Alipay owns the entire pipeline. I mean, they own the bank, they own everything. So it's easy. I mean, one of the factors that was really important to us is to be platform agnostic, right? It's not tied to an iPhone. It's not tied to Apple Pay. It's not tied to any specific platform. So with Paybyface, it'll run on anything. I could install it on Linux, on Windows, on iOS, on Android. I could put it on drones. I could put it on those little robots. We did a proof of concept and put it on one of those robots, and it works, right? So it's platform agnostic, and that was really important because that gives us scalability to have the same exact user experience regardless of the hardware it's running on, which is one of the big, winning stars on our shoulder. So, I'm not tied to any platform. And then, of course, I think the experience it's all about experience in today's world. What experience do you give the customer? And we're adding gamification to Paybyface. You can see our Instagram page, and what we've done is you can actually put a virtual face mask on. You could check out like Batman. When you're looking at the iPad, you could be Batman, or whatever. If you're a woman, you could be like whatever, pick whatever character you want, and it's unique. It's your unique character. So when someone sets Batman on the Paybyface network, they are the only Batman, right? If you pick Superman, you're the only Superman, and then we can gamify that. I mean, you can imagine go shopping at Lidl or whatever five times in a row, and you unlock Batman, right? So there could be some cool use cases. In addition, there's one other really cool feature. Is wallet sharing. So I can do true biometric wallet sharing. I can actually give my wife access with her face to my card without ever handing her my PIN or my card or anything. Right now, everybody gives their card out with their PIN, to their kids or whatever. It's actually illegal to do that, per banking contract. So we thought of, okay, well, why do you need to give your card? Why don't you just give digital access? And I could go as far as setting my, giving my wife access to go shopping at Zara tonight between 7 and 8 with only spending $200, and that's all she has. Right? So this would work for corporate card sharing too. If I have expense reports and I want to just send my salespeople to the Italian restaurant and the gas station, that's all they can do.
Right. Mihai, Mauricio, just to provoke, how you think this technology or these solutions could match with your project, with your digital?
I'm waiting for Mike to tell us when he's ready to have a partner in Peru and in South America.
I'm ready.
Right? We certainly would like to, we'd be happy to leverage that technology. I think, for example, we are talking with different companies to have a B89 button, click by pay, and it will be perfect if we combine with that with face recognition. Will be truly a competitive differentiator. So I think the opportunities are big. I think frictionless payment is the way to go, and we'd be happy to join forces with Mike. I mean, we're a small company, but between small companies, we should help each other and go ahead. And
so, just there is a connection now, Mihai and Mauricio. So this is becoming a marketplace. So
fantastic. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Absolutely.
There is a question coming from Australia now. It's from Bruno. Bruno is in Australia. So when you think to scale the solutions into the industry, how can you implement it? Will be a plus solution, or can you replace other biometric systems? We just talk a little bit about that, but if you can address it a little bit.
Yeah, scalability is in my blood. I've been an engineer, enterprise senior level engineer for many years, and I like to build scalable solutions out of the gate, because from a technical perspective, technical debt and all that stuff is just, it hurts your business when you hit scale. And so we architected it by scale right now in beta. We architected it by scale. We leverage both Amazon Cloud and Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Amazon AWS. Everything is CloudFormation templates on auto scale groups, and so it's all parameterized with continuous integration architecture behind the scenes. I mean, the tech is really what scales. We've also made it so simple for a merchant because I didn't get to the point of KYC for merchants. It's simple. You just basically download the kiosk app, the merchant kiosk app on an iPad from the Apple Store, or on any Android tablet from the Google Play Store. We give you an unlock code once we integrate into a payment gateway. You hook up a e-commerce payment gateway as a merchant, or if you already have one, you simply install the app. We send you an unlock code, and you're ready to go. So we were able to do 6 store installations in one day, all in one day. We installed 6 merchant locations here in Bucharest. That was with just 2 guys. So you imagine if I had 22 people on my installation team, we could just, I mean, there is nobody stopping us. There isn't any other person anywhere within European limits and maybe in other countries in the world that offer this. So it's really like green field, you know.
But I see every week I see some more stores coming up with your Paybyface technology, right? So I'm watching that every week. So now I see Cristiano said Paybyface and B89 bank together. I think now, Mauricio, you have the opportunity to show your hat and say nós somos banco. Show, it's not, can you see that? Let's see. Let's see if that. No, it's not. Show can you show the hat? Closer. See. Nós somos banco. So we are not a bank, but we can do banking things, right? So
yeah, so that's fantastic. We actually, when we launched Paybyface, we thought merchants would be calling us left and right, but actually the banks have been calling us. Like Raiffeisen has called us, Bank ABC in Bahrain has called us. First Abu Dhabi Bank in the Middle East has called us. There's 2 banks here in Bucharest that are already working on technical integration for KYC. So when you create a bank account, a mobile, digital first bank account, you just check a box and you automatically have Paybyface as well. So it's really interesting, the bank value proposition.
Mihai, what challenges do you see ahead? Big dreams?
Yeah, challenges. I think challenges are going to be from a team perspective, we're a very small team. We're bootstrapped, and I think as soon as this thing takes off and hits critical mass, hopefully the tech is done, right? And I'll have to hire a CTO to take over because, like, for example, 2 nights ago, I was up till 3 a.m., coding a new feature update for a cash management integration. We're integrating into cashier management software so that cashiers just have a button right on their machines, right? And it becomes super simple. So, I've built this whole thing hands-on myself. I'm the only engineer, with full access to the source code. I built it all by myself in 3 years. And so I think that's the problem, is finding another, group of engineers that can safely and securely take on this project and maintain it from an engineering perspective will be our number one first challenge coming up in 2021. So I'm slowly going to have to, trust engineers with the source code, and that's really, really difficult.
What to expect from Paybyface in 2021?
So more and more locations. We've integrated. We're fully integrated into Gateway in Romania, so I can basically onboard any merchant in Romania. We're fully integrated into Gateway with Raiffeisen Bank Bulgaria, so I can basically onboard any merchant in Bulgaria. Next is going to be Encontros, which will give us access to Germany, Austria, Switzerland, the middle of Europe, and then we're integrating into Mali and probably Adian for Amsterdam, Netherlands, and The Hague. Of course, Middle East is taking off. We want to integrate into one of the payment gateways in the Middle East. So really, it's just go to market at this point, and of course, fundraising. So we just actually 2 days ago, we just secured more funding. It's still at the angel level. So, we're still pre-revenue, but I'm hoping that in the next 2 to 3 months, we hit first revenue, and then we go for a seed round and really, put some money on each market, develop it. And by the end of next year, we're ready for Series A.
Good. Well, Mihai, so I look forward to seeing your technology in Peru together with BA.
Yes.
So I hope that works well. I'd like to thank you very much for this conversation. I'd like to thank Mauricio for joining us, just enriching the conversation here. And that was very good. Our next Encontros por acaso is going to be December 18. So we're going to have here Daniel Merege. He's the CEO of a company called Dora. Dora is focus on artificial intelligence for smart cities. So they work in that what they call the city pulso das cidades. So to measure everything and to automate and to really make our cities smarter than they are. So
nice.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Looking forward.
Still have some people here talking, and I hope you'll be safe, even in Romania and also in Spain, even in Peru, and people in Australia. I know I have people from around the world, and even from Brazil. Huh? You see what?
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna give you a little more of Paybyface before we finish here. Thank you very much, Mihai. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How many of you decided to go to the beach this summer? Well, if you decided to go out and enjoy the sun, you probably remember how difficult it is to carry your phone and your cash and your wallet while you're playing in the sand. Hiding your stuff under a towel so nobody steals it, worrying if you dropped your cash in the sand, or if you're like me and your wife doesn't have pockets in her swimsuit, you end up carrying all her stuff too, and instead of relaxing, you turn into a walking warehouse of phones, cards, and cash in your pockets.
Hi, I'm Mihai Draghici, founder and CEO of Paybyface, where your face becomes a virtual card.
Using Paybyface, all those worries of how to pay disappear. For example, when you finish swimming in the pool, you can just go straight to the bar and pay for your drink by simply having your face scanned. No cash, no phone, no cards, just your beautiful tan face. We have launched 18 iPads in Romania, at coffee shops, pharmacies, salons, you name it. We are planning to have 100 locations up and running by the end of this year. We have signed a partnership with Romania to onboard 750,000 cardholder members on corporate prepaid meal cards. We're also running a pilot project with Raiffeisen Bank Bulgaria and Bank ABC in the Middle East. We have bootstrapped everything so far the past 3 years, with very strategic funding to date of approximately 100,000 euros from 2 angel investors, the Startup Bootcamp Accelerator, and as a Raiffeisen Factory contest winner in Romania this year. Our plans are to expand the market in Bucharest to prove our scalability and see if consumers will take Paybyface viral. We are preparing for our seed round and would love to talk to you and discuss additional important topics like privacy and security, go-to-market strategy, and our financial models with your team. So next time you need to go buy alcohol for the beach party, you can just pay with your face. Join us at Paybyface and let's take payments beyond the transaction.